Well, Andre, we've already heard from Lando. He said, not my best day. Not the end of the world, though, championship-wise. He still managed to get P2.
Yeah, I think we have to sort of acknowledge that Red Bull and Verstappen today, they were a little bit faster. Obviously, it would have been interesting to see if we were in condition to take the lead at the start and then somehow use the clean air that you have when you get in the lead. But honestly, Max was faster than us pretty much in all conditions. So at some stage, we thought that the second place is good enough with the perspective of the championship.
Okay. Can I ask you specifically about the start? We heard on the team radio feed, Lando wasn't particularly happy with what Max was doing on the formation lap. He believed he was hanging back a bit. Did that influence his decision to cut him off so aggressively?
Well, good question. You know, instinctively, actually, I thought at the pit wall, like, to tell Will and say, like, tell him to stay calm. But we don't know. We don't know if that was an influence or not. He was trying to defend the position, but I think on the inside he found much less grip than what he anticipated, and he went a little bit long. It's racing. We lost the position. We regained one on track with Russell, but like I say, I'm not sure we could have kept the lead with the pace that Verstappen exhibited today.
Okay. Was Lando having to lift and coast for something at the end?
Well, the result was safe. We just wanted to be conservative, bring it home, and then we'll play our cards in the last two races.
Okay, and Oscar, we have to have a word about him. Maybe he needed to win the race to keep his championship alive. What's your view on that?
My view is that mathematics is what counts. So Oscar needs to go into the two final races with the will to win them. And take it from there. It's still a very exciting and interesting finale of the season. So Max, Lando, Oscar, everyone will just go on to next race thinking we need to win, and then we see what happens.
Thanks very much, Andrew.
But it is a very comfortable cushion now for Lando Norris. 30 over his teammate, 42 over Max Verstappen. As I said, if Oscar doesn't outscore him by 5 points or more, or Max by 17 points or more at the end of the sprint weekend in Qatar, it's done, it's dusted, he's nearly there.
He sees the finish line now, doesn't he? Like, quite literally. And I think that he's got his eyes on that prize, and of course we'll ask him lots of questions about it and he'll be thinking about it and lots of excitement building, but he needs to just take it one race at a time, because a sprint weekend brings big points and it can very quickly swing the other way.
That said, it's a vice-like grip now, isn't it, on that?
It is. It is a great track for Oscar. It has been in the past.
Yep.
Yeah, so he needs to take 5 points out of him over the race weekend. That's possible. Well, it'd be nice to see it go to the last race.
Yeah, of course. We'd love that. We'd absolutely love that. What about the way that Lando drove today? We're going to go to the Sky Pad in a minute and have a look at it, but the move at into turn one, and then as Sam Worthington was saying, he ran out of road, but it was quite an aggressive move across, wasn't it, Jensen?
It was an aggressive move across. It just...
Yeah, he was ahead of him, or he pulled over to that left-hand side way before they were anywhere near the apex. So before Max had got the proper drive out, he made sure that he was the person in front. Max had nowhere to go because he's not going to take the time to go around him, and he couldn't be level with him in the apex of the corner and run both of them off the road.
But he went so far to the left. He was up against the wall. It's like, you only need to go far enough that a car can't go down the inside. But I loved it. Great to see that aggression. Just didn't quite work out.
Actually, that's what we were talking about, though, Jensen, beforehand, wasn't it? With regards to perhaps the change in demeanour out there in the wheel-to-wheel racing with Max. You can't be timid. You've got to be aggressive.
Yeah, you do, and it's a change for Lando. He's not that driver, do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it didn't execute it quite as well as he had hoped, but it was nice to see still.
Should we head to the Sky Pad? Anthony is there for us to talk us through a few things. What have you got, Ant, up your sleeve?
Yeah, just more of that, the McLaren start with Lando. I know you've seen some views of it, but we've got the onboard of Max's view, what he saw. And actually from this view on the left-hand side, it looks slightly less dramatic than the off-board shot, especially the heli shot. So yeah, I'll play it on. You'll see how Lando gets the initial jump on Max, that initial clutch phase release. And then once he realises that he's got traction there on the exit, after that first phase of the clutch, as soon as he's got that traction, he then immediately starts to pull over. I'll just rewind it because it looks slightly less dramatic from this point of view, from where Max is sitting. But the thing that Max does so well here, despite having a car right in his vision, it's like Jensen said, judging when you're on this dirty line on the inside and a green track at the best of times anyway after that rain yesterday, judging where to brake. You know, you've got that 50-meter board that they've just gone past. They're just coming up to you here on the left-hand side. So that's your only point of reference for the drivers. But when you're sitting so close behind a car like that, judging the braking distance like Max was having to do was incredibly hard, and he would have been smiling as he watched his rival outbrake himself and run off here. But now Max is all eyes on the left-hand side of the track to try and maximise his own traction. That was a loss of 2 positions for Lando. It's so easily done when you're the first to arrive on the scene there. But once again, Russell who locks up. And pretty much as that's happening, I'll just go and show his tyre here. And Lawson does the same thing. So I roll that on, you can see the Pirelli logo on the left tyre there, just hardly moving around. So the same thing's happening to the car we're riding on board with that's happening in front of him, probably off-put by what's going on in turn 1, everyone finding it hard, and he doesn't know where to go. He simply braked too late, he straightens up the steering wheel in a hunt to go down this gap here, potentially, that might open up, but it doesn't. He's got Oscar on his right-hand side, and the clash is there. So that's how Piastri lost a few positions there, and Lawson's front wing starts to disintegrate. So that's why he was losing so much time on those last 2 laps, where he was massively saving fuel for whatever reason. This lift and coast was huge, so that explains that. Well in control, he knew exactly what he's doing. And we can hear from his teammate. We can't hear from his teammate. Back to the guys. Simon, back to you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, with regards to Oscar, he gained a place, didn't he, because of Kimi's jump start and the 5-second penalty. But nevertheless, as we were talking about, it was one he needed to win.
Yeah, it was. It was one that he needed to win, but he hasn't. So he's going to look to next week and see what he can do there. I think he minimised the loss, because he also lost a lot of positions at the start, as Ant had shown, and he managed to gain some of those back. So I think he'll not be unhappy with where he finished.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's on the back foot from the word go, wasn't he? He needed to get a good launch. He needed to be attacking from the word go, but he didn't have the opportunity because he was sideswiped at turn 1 and pushed wide. So not an easy race for him, and stuck in traffic for a lot of it as well. So, yeah, he won't be happy with how it ended up, but a lot of it comes down to what happened yesterday.
Yeah, let's hear from him now.
Oscar, just talk to me about that start today. What happened?
There's not much to say. I mean, I felt like I was one of the only people that actually braked to make the corner and got barged out of the way, and apparently that's fine. So, you know, it is what it is. I think the rest of the race was eventful after that as well. A few too many mistakes. But, yeah, from start to finish, just felt like there was some tough moments through the race. I feel like there was good moments of pace. I feel like in clean air we were really quick, but just, yeah, difficult before I got the clean air and difficult after it ran out.
You say too many mistakes and things. Just what sort of mistakes, and is it just this track and it's not suiting you and you don't like driving here maybe as much as other circuits?
Just little lock-ups here and there, and that was it really. But I mean, you know, it's maybe not my favourite circuit of the year, but you know, I've got plenty of tracks that aren't my favourites that have been good this year. So I don't think it's anything to do with that. Just dodgy, you know, pretty bad start. Took a while to find the rhythm, and then yeah, just got stuck behind Antonelli then for a long time as well, which hampered our pace quite a lot.
It makes obviously your championship bid a little bit harder, not being able to get any points today. Where do you see it? We're going to Qatar, which is a track you won the sprint at before. It's a track you know well. Do you have hope that you can cut into Lando's lead there?
Hopefully, but I mean, obviously, I need more than that now. So I'm just going to go into the next 2 weeks trying to be as prepared as I can, have the best weekends I can. It'd be nice to get some good results on the board to finish the year, but you know, the championship picture is what it is. So yeah, we'll see what I can do.
All right, thanks.
I feel so sorry for him because, as you said, it's been a 64-point turnaround since Zandvoort, and he just must be going through hell at the moment when you can see it falling away, but the way he's carried himself all the way through it, he's never changed his attitude. He's one of the good ones, isn't he, Oscar? And you just got to hope that if he can't get it done this year, then another chance will come along sooner.
Exactly. We can't forget he's not been in the sport very long. In his performances have been amazing at times. The consistency this year has been a little bit off, which was surprising. We thought he was the one that was very level-headed, could take pressure, and it seems to have not worked out for him. So yeah, he will get his time, I think, to fight for more wins and also for possible world championships in the future.
Yeah, I was just going to say we should maybe give a shout out to the Aussies, because this is one of the only races that is at a good time for them on a Sunday, middle of the day. They'll have been watching, hoping that Piastri could have got more out of that race and close that little gap a bit. But as Jensen said, he started the year so strong. We were so impressed with the changes he made from last year, closed the gap in qualifying, improved the race pace, everything was coming together, and then he's just had this little blip where the points have started to swing the other way at the time that Lando Norris is maximising everything, and that's just the way it goes. You know, Oscar's a very analytical guy, you know, so is Tom Stallard as race engineer. Regardless of how the year pans out, they'll go back and they'll look at all of the races that didn't quite go the right way and figure out how they improve them next year, and he will come back stronger, and he has a long future ahead of him.
Exactly. They stuffed us in the ashes yesterday as well, so I mean there's that as well to fall back on. Let's hear from Lewis Hamilton. Actually, it was a decent drive to get up to 10th and into the points from where he was in plumb last, but I wonder how happy he is with the weekend.
Hi Lewis. Getting the points from the back of the grid is an achievement. What are your feelings standing here right now, that there was so much more that could have been got this weekend with different strategies, different communications? How are you feeling standing here now at the end of that race?
I feel terrible. Terrible. You know, it's been it's been the worst season ever, and no matter how much I try, it just keeps going worse. So, yeah.
Can I ask what you're trying?
I'm trying everything.
So in the car, out of
everything,
the car?
in and out of the car.
Okay, hope it gets better. Thank you.
God, how many times have we seen that? I mean, you know, having been told, I mean, he's not talked the team down in any way, shape or form there. He's talked himself down this weekend, but I just never see him so deflated.
Yeah, you know, and that was it was always going to be a tough race for P19, let's be honest, but the Ferrari did look strong in the dry yesterday. He had actually a very good first stint on the hard tyre, and, you know, they did that strategy starting on it, ran a very long stint, looked quite good, attempted to undercut Hülkenberg, who the Ferrari should easily be able to have the pace on, and the medium tyre just went from bad to worse from Lewis. You know, the first initial laps on the medium were slow. Hülkenberg protected the undercut, so he's behind again. And then the final stint on the medium, he's dropping from Hülkenberg. So something's gone wrong on that medium stint for Lewis and Ferrari, and that's why he's so deflated, because he's got, you know, Jensen knows, he's got out of the car, not challenging, having a terrible final few laps. So that's his lasting memory of that race, and that's something they need to look at urgently, really.
Yeah, damage though again done yesterday.
Yeah, it was. But Lewis, I feel Lewis has carried himself really well this year. It's been a very difficult season for someone of his caliber to have difficult races, and he's carried himself so well. And this is the first time I feel that we've really seen him seriously deflated, and it gets to you. You know, mentally it's draining when you have a few bad races, and it felt like it was on the up. And this might be just one bad race, and it might be back for the next run, and I hope so. And he's very good at that. If he has a bad race, he's very good at turning it around at the next one. So it won't weigh on him after this weekend, but it's a tough moment for him in his career right now.
Just on the word on the tyres though today as well. I mean, we didn't see the graining in excess, did we? And most people on a one-stop.
Most people on a one-stop, it seemed to be the strategy out there. The medium tyre, I think, lasted much longer in that first stint than anyone expected. I spoke to one of the strategists down the pit lane, and they said there was signs of the graining on the medium, but it just didn't fall away. The degradation was pretty linear, and that allowed them to go, you know, Verstappen did a 50-50 race, half medium, half hard. So much better than last year. Great improvement on the tyres from that side, and that has led to this one-stop race where they didn't need the second half.
Case in point, Kimi Antonelli. We'll probably hear from him a little bit later. Charles Leclerc finished just behind Kimi Antonelli in 6th. Let's hear from him.
Charles, P6 where you started today. Is that a good result for you? Do you feel like it or not? No.
No, it's not a good result. I mean, P6 is very disappointing. On another note, I felt like it was probably the best race of the season in terms of personal performance. I felt like, honestly, all the laps were quali laps and there weren't many mistakes. So I'm very happy with my own performance, but P6 is very frustrating.
Yeah, you were quite down and disheartened yesterday and looking for answers, really. How tough is it? I mean, we saw your moves, we saw your overtakes, we saw how good you were on track, and you're just not able to show it, I guess, right now in this car.
Yeah, I struggled because in the straights we were losing a lot of speed compared to the guys in front, and actually the DRS activation is very late in the straight. So in the very first part I was losing so much, but then on braking I knew I could make the difference. So I think I surprised some of our competitors in braking of turn 14, but at the end, when Oscar had the DRS of Kimi, it was then very difficult for me. So yeah.
It was still a great drive.
Thank you.
And what are they supposed to say? This, I mean, it takes us back to actually John Elkann's comments, doesn't it? But when you've got a car that isn't competitive, and you can sense the frustration from him as well. There's only so many things you can say. You're not going to come out and say, "Oh, it's brilliant, I finished sixth." He finished sixth, and he said that. It's not good enough, really.
Both Lewis and Charles know that that car should be capable of better than P6 and P10 at a track that we all thought they were going to go brilliant at. And they both, but as drivers, are capable of more than that. So they need to, try and improve, try and find more pace, obviously. But it is deflating for both of them, and they can't come out and say that's a success. It's not a success for Ferrari.
No, but I mean, Lewis is heading towards his first podiumless season in his entire career. He's not got one. Charlotte's got 7, and you just saw in there they are now even further down in fourth, 20 points behind Red Bull, I think they were. So it's one of those things, I suppose, that it's the way it's tailed off this season, isn't it? But you're not going to bring upgrades, are you, when everything's focused towards 2026?
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of pressure on everyone within the team right now, and I think that's probably why Charles felt that he had to say it was one of my best races.
Yeah.
So he's saying I did the best I could, and that this was one of my best races, but the performance just isn't there. So
there we are. That is a very deflated Lewis Hamilton making his way out of the pen, and I should imagine hopping straight onto a plane and getting home. Okay, we're going to take a short break. On the other side of that, we'll continue rounding up everything fifth. Let's hear from him, but first of all, Toto Wolff.
Well, that's a very, very solid result. And wow, Kimi Antonelli, almost the whole race on one set of tyres.
Yeah, and then quickest lap times at the end. I think how he's managed to treat the tyres, how he's balanced his driving to kind of make it go quick was really impressive.
And George, tell us some of the issues, especially towards the end. We heard various radio messages about steering, but it didn't seem to affect his pace then.
No, I think he has the ability to kind of manage to adapt his driving, and the steering got a bit sticky. But we need to look at the tyres, whether he damaged them in the initial laps, trying to maybe push Verstappen, which I'm not sure it is the case. Let's see, we need to analyze the data, but I have a thought that maybe we haven't been pushing them enough in order to protect the podium, but again, this is just a theory.
But constructors with Max winning is looking, it's going to be interesting all the way to Abu Dhabi.
Well, I mean, we lost some points, did we? We lost some points against the one-car team. And 25, I think it is, so that's by far not enough to say that is easy. We just need to go to Qatar and to Abu Dhabi and do our best.
Thanks, Toto.
Kimi, that was a fantastic drive today. Is there any part of you that thinks, if I just got it yesterday, I would be?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you never know. But the pace was very strong today. This, was very clear, and especially the last 10 lap. I was trying to manage because I saw the graining appearing halfway through the race, and I was getting a bit concerned. And especially when I got the call of Plan B, I knew I would have had to get to the end with the same set. So obviously I was trying to manage, and obviously when Oscar, arrived behind in DRS zone, I had to start pushing, and eventually the graining started to clean. Even though it was still there, but it cleaned up, and the time just kept coming and coming. So super happy that we made it stick, and yeah, important points for the team.
I know you had that penalty for the start, for moving at the start, or so they seem, but doing 48 laps on that one set of tyres, what were they like at the end of the race?
Yeah, well, it was not easy because the traction started to be really poor. The front starting to give up a little bit, so I had to really work on tools and a bit with the driving to adapt. But it was not easy because traction was starting to be very tricky, and especially at the end when I started to push more and more, it was tires started to give up a little bit. So it was not easy, but still, they hold on very well, and yeah, just glad we made it stick.
Well done.
Thank you.
Lots to pick up on, but Bernie, let's get into your field of expertise. As a strategist, do you doff your cap to the Mercedes strategy team and go, ooh, very good?
Well, yeah. And the Kimi Antonelli strategy and the Kimi Antonelli drive is super impressive today, because I had it in my head that an effective one stop on the hard tyre was good. I hadn't had it in my head until I sort of seen what was unfolding, that maybe he might not stop again. And I don't know when Mercedes made that decision to not stop again. But from that point onwards, massively well managed by Kimi. First of all, he was able to hold Piastri and Leclerc back from Russell. Now, that's they didn't know how poor Russell's lap time would become to the end, but they protected Russell. And then just in the last few laps, Kimi had enough in it to push, to open a big enough gap that he didn't lose the position to Leclerc with the 5-second penalty. So really, really well managed from him and the entire team. So, yeah, I was really impressed by that as I've seen it unfolding.
One of the great pleasures of this job is in watching these guys week in, week out, you get to see them mature. And it's happening in front of our eyes, isn't it, with this kid?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the start, it's such a shame, but it is what it is with the regulations. If you move, you get a penalty. But he didn't gain anything from that. He actually lost. He got a really bad start.
Yeah.
To take that out of it, he was 2 seconds off the podium. I mean, starting that far back. And the car in front was his teammate, who was taking massive chunks out of. So really impressive. He got in a groove and just was consistent with those lap times. I was 100% thinking they were going to fall off a cliff towards the end.
Yeah, but actually it's one of the skills, though, isn't it? That you need that in your armoury if you're going to be a great driver. It's not just about out-and-out pace. If you can do that and be as deft as he was on those tyres, that's something that you can carry forward.
I don't think he was looking after them, though. I think he just pushed them, and they just lasted.
They just lasted, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that sort of matches what Toto said there. Toto said we need to look at Russell's stint, where Russell greened the tyres and said he didn't think he was going to make them to the end. And Toto's basically said there, I actually think he wasn't pushing enough, that Russell was managing too much to avoid the greening, and then he didn't clean up the greening. He never got to a point of cleaning up the greening, and they'll have a look at that, because I think it was, I'm impressed.
Can we also talk about George, though, because again, it's just what was it? Did I say it was the 9th podium he's had this season, and he's only failed to score once. He's only qualified outside the top 6 once. Again, it's just that word, consistency. He was unhappy yesterday, and he obviously had a problem towards the end as well.
I think he was unhappy in the end of the race to finish 3rd, and that's a really good position to be in, to be disappointed with 3rd, because he thought there was more on the table. I don't think the win was on the cards, but
no.
The possibility of a 2nd, maybe. But yeah, I think that's just shows how good he is at the moment. He's doing a really good job.
Guaranteed to finish 4th in the drivers as well.
Yeah, like me and Jensen were just sort of talking off air before we got to this, that they decided to try and undercut Verstappen, or try and undercut Verstappen, protect from Norris, and then he did push a little bit on those earlier laps and they should have maybe thought, Verstappen's not our race, we need to focus a bit more on Norris, and maybe he would have been able to hold on to that position. But very impressive, and like we've discussed so much, consistency. That's why he's 4th,
Yeah.
That's why he's 4th in this championship, because every week he's been putting in the results and very rarely making mistakes.
Exactly. 4th won't be good enough for him next year, though. We know what he's eyeing up, and that is a first title, particularly if his great mate and the man who also had his 150th Grand Prix start, Lando Norris, picks one up this year.
Just to pick up on that, and with the start infringement there, I think that even Kimi Antonelli, there was a lot of discussion on the Mercedes radio. How did that happen? I don't remember. Don't think I moved, but post that Norris infringement, they actually changed the regulation so that any indication of movement, even if the electronic sensor doesn't pick it up, warrants a penalty. And 5 seconds is the minimum penalty that they can give in the regulation. So they can actually give 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or a drive-through. So I think they have looked at the point that it's very, very minor and he didn't gain from it. But because they changed that regulation post Norris not being penalised for it when it was clearly a jump start, they've had to give a penalty.
Yeah, you have to give that penalty if the rule changes. But people like Kimi will look back retrospectively and say, "Oh, it's so cruel." I've seen, say, someone like Valtteri Bottas in the past get away from it from around the Red Bull ring. I seem to remember, and the Norris situation as well. But if the rule changes, you have to abide to those rules. Just make sure. It's the first time he's been to this track. Maybe there's a slight undulation there. He'll never forget to keep his left foot on the brake pedal ever again, I'm sure. It's just another learning curve.
Good stuff, thanks, Ant. Okay, let's get some views from the Red Bull camp. Max Verstappen obviously won it. Yuki Tsunoda finished whopping 86 seconds, 87 seconds behind, and in 14th position. Let's hear from their boss, Laurent Mekies.
Well, Max and you, Laurent, your team, did the job you needed to do today.
What to say, it was another masterclass from Max. Close to perfections also from the team. Honestly, I think everyone back in Milton Keynes should be proud. The car was fast on a weekend where nobody had the time to do proper preparations because FP1, FP2 were somewhat disturbed, FP3 as well. But the car was fast. The tire management was certainly good enough. Execution was very, very strong. So and you can probably feel that Max probably had some margin at some stage. When he needed to push, he has been able to bring more to the table. So big well done to everybody back at the factory and here at the track, because it's been it's a weekend where we have been struggling a lot last year here. It's a weekend that is very different to everything else we find in the seasons, with the temperatures, with the track layout, and Max and the team have mastered it, and I think they should be proud.
Indeed, everyone should. By sending Giampiero Lambiase onto the podium, you made sure that Max gave him the biggest champagne shower I think I've ever seen. Their relationship is great. I thought it was crucial that GP reassured Max after Lando's cut across, and he said, I think, well done, you kept your head there. Max could see that move coming in a way, don't you think?
Yeah, Max is unbeatable in this sort of move, and he always gets it right, and he did again today. So not a big surprise. But yeah, there was, it's always look easy after all, but there were a few critical moments in the race. When George pitted, and in the end both us and Lando stayed out, and a few other moments. But again, everybody managed it to perfection, and very, very happy to see Max and GP for the teams there.
Okay, we'll see obviously what happens with the Drivers' Championship. He has gained on Lando, but maybe things will get difficult. We'll see how that goes. Just finally, I just want to ask you about the constructors. It's equal now between you and Mercedes. Both scored 25 points today, with them picking up 10 and 5, and 10 and 15, and you are obviously getting the 25 with Max. Obviously, with Yuki not managing to score points at the moment, how do you see that progressing in your fight with Mercedes for the constructors?
I think for Yuki, we paid the price of what happened yesterday, and that's what it is. We take it race by race. That's the reality. We want to nail every weekend as much as we can. Today we made it. This weekend, that's what matters. A win is a win, and we leave this race with a win, and we will reset, and we will prepare Qatar and look at Qatar with that very same objective, extract everything. The points are just the consequence. We don't do anything thinking of the points.
Okay. Well, the points have certainly helped Max today. Congratulations. Thank you, Laurent.
That is the problem, isn't it? And it was a little dig in the ribs from Toto, because actually it is advantage them in race for second, because as Toto called them, they're the one-car team.
Yeah, it is staggering what Max is doing in a one-car team.
Yeah.
Fighting for second in the Constructors'
Amazing.
Championship. Yeah, it is.
But I suppose as far as Max's future is concerned, it's over to Red Bull powertrains for next year, because that is going to dictate whether he stays or goes, you should imagine, from Red Bull.
Yeah, it is. I think Max is obviously staying for now, and I think he's taken the decision to wait and see how next year goes with that new powertrain, with the big change in regulations. if you listen to all the noise in the paddock, we think that the Red Bull powertrain isn't there. But noise in the paddock is noise in the paddock. It's not. Nobody's compared them like for like, and we won't know till we get to the first race really next year. But they need to be working hard on the car, which Max has been vocally unhappy with at times this year, and the engine for next year in order to retain him. And if you take him out of the team is nowhere in the championship. No. So that's really...
But they pulled it back, didn't they? They did turn it round, because at one point it looked like that they were falling off a cliff, and then they got a couple of upgrades and they've been able to pick up.
It's really impressive, yeah, because they were falling back when they especially pre-summer break. So no, it's impressive. They have in high downforce and low downforce tracks picked it up.
Absolutely. Right, okay, there we go. Max Verstappen is your winner this evening here in Las Vegas.
We didn't see much of you on the coverage during that race, Isaac, because there was so much going on all around. So just tell us how you would sum up your race for you today.
So boring. Like, honestly, I had an awesome first lap, but to be fair, we're not very fast. So yeah, from there we kind of fell off, and obviously we knew with the top teams going long it would be possible to have a good result, but still P8 is nice.
Good to get points, but I guess no one had any long run. Wow. What are you seeing?
The race start.
Oh, are you watching it on the Skypad with Ant? Yes. Yeah, it was quite aggressive move across, and then some strong defending as well.
Yeah.
With the lack of race data or the lack of long run data from yesterday, did that affect you as well, do you think? Think with more information?
Yeah, I think we, as a team, we maybe played it a bit conservative. We expected to have maybe a bit more graining, but in the end, it was a full push race. So yeah, it's nice to drive, but when there's no fight around, it's quite boring.
Thanks.
Well, there you go. Summed it up. Didn't enjoy his evening, did he? Maybe he'll have a bit of fun on the blackjack tables later, who knows. But, yeah, I mean, you can get a bit lost in these things, can't you, when you're sort of driving around having your own race? It must have happened to you a few times.
Yeah, it's like, what, did I do well or not?
I don't know.
I felt like I did everything I could, but he just didn't have much fun out there. He just drove round. But he did pick up 4 points.
Again. And he just keeps amassing them, doesn't he? I mean, he's really, one of the picks of the rookies.
Yeah, I think he is one of the picks of the rookies for sure, and I think he's shown what he can do. He's shown he's had the pace, but he's also shown that on Sunday he can make it happen. And I think one of the things he says there, maybe they were a bit conservative. I suspect they're maybe telling him to manage a bit more, so he spends his whole race not feeling like he's pushing in the same way. You know, we heard Leclerc say he's pushing like an animal. I think Adjar was probably managing because the team's worried about the graining, and then now he looks at the race and thinks, if I could have gained a 10th or 2/10 every lap, where would that have left me? So that's the type of... These guys walk away from a race like that, they think a bit hard done by, even though the result is still good.
OK, DNF for Alex Albon. His teammate started third, finished in 7th. Here is the smooth operator, Carlos Sainz.
Hi. Carlos, a P7 from where you started is I'm sure probably a disappointment today, but just...
No, not
really.
No,
it's not. No. OK, good. So, I mean, the qualifying was exceptional, and what, the car just didn't have the pace to match the others today, or...?
Well, we're racing cars that in the dry are 3 or 4 tenths quicker, so over 50 laps is no chance that you're going to keep them behind. I think, to be honest, with a good race, the next midfield car was 10 seconds behind. We were only within 3 or 4 seconds of Piastri and Charles on a Ferrari and a McLaren, so I think we need to be happy with that. Maybe to say something a bit conservative around the pit stop, I think we could have kept Charles and Oscar behind, and we could have had to make them pass us on track rather than around the pit stop, which is maybe something to note if we wanted to be a bit more aggressive, but we knew they were quicker and they were probably going to pass us sooner or later. So happy with the P7. It's what I should have been in Mexico, what I should have been in Austin, but unfortunately we didn't convert there, and here we converted.
So the last 2 races then, Qatar and Abu Dhabi, how much of a fight can you put up at those 2 races? Will they suit you or not, those tracks?
I think Qatar will be a tough one for us, probably damage limitation if possible, but then Abu Dhabi should be back in the pace and fighting for another P7, hopefully.
Thank you.
Been good to see Carlos, hasn't it? Back end of this year, back to the Carlos we know of old.
Yeah, he's getting much more confident in the car, and, you know, massive support here on the grid today. There was a massive cheer when he got onto that truck at the beginning, and he had a really good race. You know, his pace in that final stint was matching the guys ahead. You know, he wasn't falling away the way we might expect the Williams to. So they were strong this weekend.
Right, hypothetically then, let's get into 2026. They've got Mercedes engine in there. If the Mercedes power unit is the best of the lot, there's going to be 4 teams. Do we think that that Williams could be a force next year?
I mean, the problem is that 2 of those teams are Mercedes and McLaren.
Of course.
But of course, yeah. I mean, when you look at what they're doing this year, the performances are amazing compared to the last couple of years in the sport. It's been a massive shift into 2025, and a lot of it is about usable downforce.
Yeah.
It's not just about straight lines. So, I mean, something you always talk about, right, is how does the downforce work at yaw? And it's giving the drivers a lot more confidence to push this car. So it's a shame that we're not seeing the performances from Alex, and he's had some bad luck and a few little mistakes, because he's equally as good at getting points. So, yeah.
Okay, right, let's finish by hearing from the champion-elect. Is he looking forward to Qatar?
Even with P2, your lead in the championship is now 30 points. Those 2 weekends to go, as you've just referenced. You're in a great position. Do you dare to dream?
No, I'm just pretty disappointed with today. So, no, I look forward to Qatar. I look forward to getting somewhere warm and, yeah, just go play some golf, go play some paddle for a few days, enjoy a few days off, and, yeah, do everything we can to try and win in Qatar.
Come on. He's excited. He's playing us off against each other. He's not thinking that. He's looking forward to it. Of course he is. It's nearly there.
He cannot be thinking like it is coming across. That can't be. No. That can't be real.
Don't believe that.
But it seems to be working for him.
Yeah.
He's controlling himself, and he's proving that in every result.
There we go. Thank you very much, Bernie.
Thank you,
Jensen. We are going to disappear into the Las Vegas night, and who knows where that will take us. Ted's race notebook is next, and we'll be back next weekend for the Qatar Grand Prix. Lando, he's nearly there, isn't he, from Zohir? Bye for now.